The next adventure for Batman begins in Detective Comics number 42 with a cover date of August 1940, and it's called The Case of the Prophetic Pictures. We start off in Wayne Manor, and Dick Grayson is wondering where Bruce is going, all dressed up. Bruce tells him he's going to a party thrown by the socially eminent Mr. Wiley. He's throwing a party for an artist he discovered while traveling in Europe. Wiley is quite insane about paintings. He's been the patron of many a starving genius. An artist, eh? Bruce arrives at the party schmoozing with the high society guests, keeping up the appearance that he's a lazy, good-for-nothing rich boy. Mr. Wiley introduces him to the man of the hour, the artist, Antal. Antal has a manager named Mr. Bleak, and with the help of Wiley, they intend to make Antal the premier portrait painter for all of society. As their conversation deepens, a crazed man accosts Antal, screaming that he should kill him for what he did to his sister. You better stay out of my way, or the next time I see you, I'll throttle you. Who was that man, you ask? He is another artist named Mekoff, whose sister committed suicide after Antal left her. But Antal assures the men that he can't help if women love him. Later that evening, Bruce is on the terrace and overhears Antal fighting with the socially eminent Mr. Drake. Drake warns Antal to stay away from his wife. Weeks pass and Antal's fame rises, with each portrait finished, and the elite are all talking about him. All of them want portraits done. But we start to see a mystery develop. A man named Van Gild had an Antal painting commissioned, though sometime after it had been done and hanging. The butler found a knife plunged into the middle of the painting one night. Why would anybody do this? Van Gild learns too late that the cryptic meaning behind it is death. The same goes for a famous opera singer, Carmen Largo. Hers has a dart driven into it, and the next night while performing, the painting's grim warning becomes reality. The audience is terrified as Carmen collapses dead on stage, a dart in her neck. The newspapers deem these the prophetic murders. The next day, another of Antal's patrons discovers their painting with a rope around its neck. This time, the would-be victim, Mr. Warren, takes charge and gets the police involved. They're going to watch him and his building like a hawk. News travels fast, and Bruce is going to stake out the Warren estate. He takes the Almost-mobile and starts his climb to the top of this very tall penthouse. Batman gets to the top of the building and makes his way in, but he's too late. Behind him, Mr. Warren is hanging dead, just as the painting warned. Suddenly, the door opens and the lights turn on. The police see Batman, and of course they think he is the murderer. Jumping and grabbing onto the amazingly placed chandelier, Batman makes it to the top of the steps, musing to himself that it's too bad Robin isn't here. He would love this. Some of the policemen follow up the steps, but Batman isn't having any of this. He grabs a metal vase, and with his amazing bowling skills, he picks up the spare, taking out 4 policemen. An even more hilarious turn of events, Batman yells, "Yippee!" sliding down the banister balls first to down 3 more dorks with a speeding dropkick from the banister's edge. He high-fives the last 2 men, lifting them off their feet, and gets into the Almost-mobile, and just like that, Batman is gone. A few days later, Bruce Wayne is hanging out with his homie, Commissioner Gordon, when Antal busts in the office, screaming that the commissioner must do something. People all over town are canceling their portraits. Someone is definitely trying to ruin Antal. Gordon asks if Antal has any enemies. He tells him yes. Mekoff for that business with his sister. Mr. Drake because of that misunderstanding with his wife on the balcony the other night. He's a very jealous man. And possibly his recently fired manager, Mr. Bleak. Just then, Mr. Wiley bursts into the office looking worse for wear. He tells the men a story about how he found his painting with bullet holes in it, but he kept it to himself. He didn't want to worry the police, and he really didn't believe in all this nonsense. That night, he got a visit from the murderer, and they had quite a fight. He managed to fend him off, but was nicked in the arm from a stray bullet during the scuffle. He's afraid he will come back to finish off the job. The commissioner tells him to go home, and he will post men in front of the house so no one will get in. Because, that's been working so well. Another man comes dashing into the office, Mr. Travers. He's pissed. What sort of police force do we have here? I woke up and there was an arrow in my portrait. Gordon warns Travers that he's in great peril. Travers doesn't trust the police and he figures he's better off on his own. He's going to go out on his friend Roger's yacht. He's not going to be around for his own murder. Take that, story. In an ever-amazing, thought-provoking move, Batman is going to have Robin stake out Roger's yacht while he investigates some bank records. Robin takes a boat out and finds the yacht. He climbs aboard just in time to see the murderer about to shoot an unsuspecting Travers in the back with an arrow. Without hesitation, Robin uses his sling and knocks the arrow out of midair before it kills Travers cold. With the balls of a bull, young Robin squares off with the masked murderer. An intruder, eh? An artist, eh? During the scuffle, Robin's back is up against the wall and the murderer makes his move. He notches an arrow and it flies towards the boy wonder with astonishing velocity. But it's no match for Robin's quickness. He easily dodges the projectile and chases after the perp who just jumped off the side of the yacht to his getaway boat. Robin jumps in, but the boat is too fast. The murderer gets away. But at least he saved a man's life. That should count for something. When Batman and Robin meet up later, Bruce tells him that he's figured out who the murderer is, and it's not even about revenge. It's about money, plain and simple. So Batman changes into Bruce Wayne and he tells Dick, I'm going to have my portrait painted by Antal. He goes to Antal's studio and commissions a portrait against Antal's warnings. To keep up appearances, Bruce acts like he doesn't believe all that hogwash. He wants that portrait, and when asked by Antal why, Bruce tells him vanity. Sheer vanity. I like to look at myself, and I'm going to hang this in my house in a very prominent place. Antal thinks Bruce is brave or the most conceited man ever. That night, Bruce hangs up the painting, much to Robin's confusion. The following morning, the portrait has bullet holes in it. A warning just like all the others. What are you going to do, Bruce? Nothing. Just sit here and wait for the murderer. That night, while Bruce is sitting in his library chair, a shadowy figure silently enters the room. Stealthily, with silencer poised, the murderer walks right up to Bruce and puts the gun to the back of his head and fires point blank. What's this? The Batman rushes into the room, socking the dork right in the face, and takes a bow. The man lunges with murder in his eyes and grabs Batman by the throat. Struggling for survival, they both fall backwards into a table, and this is Batman's chance. With cat-like reflexes, the Bat monkey flips the murderer, crashing him into the wall, and then gives him a final right cross to the jaw. But if Batman was behind the door, who was in the chair? Bruce tells Dick it's okay to come out now. What did you think of my plan to have a dummy of myself placed over you? It worked swell! I was able to make it look alive, and since I'm too small to reach the top, the bullets went right over my head. Since this is such a ridiculous moment, and since Batman constantly puts Robin, a child, life in danger, we have a new count we will be doing along with the Bat kill count and the Boy Wonder kill count. This brings the awesome Batman parenting moments up to 2. We are giving him one for sending Robin alone on the boat with the murderer while he checked bank records. With the murderer subdued, it's time to take off the mask. The killer is revealed to be Mr. Wiley, the man that brought Antal to the USA. Robin wonders why it's Wiley when Batman said the motive was money. He's got tons of it. Batman explains that when Robin was on the yacht that night, he was digging through bank records and found out Wiley was massively in debt. When he was over in Europe, he bought tons of Antal's paintings for cheap since Antal was unknown there, and figured he could sell them here for a fortune if Antal became notoriously famous. So he concocted the plan for these prophetic murders. And to keep the police off his track, he shot himself in the arm. The one thing Batman couldn't figure out was how Wiley got to and from the murder scenes without the police knowing. Wiley tells him he has a secret passage leading to the outside, and he would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you blasted kids. Oh wait, wrong story. Wiley breaks free and picks up the pistol, and instead of killing Batman and Dick, he shoots himself in the head. I guess he couldn't bear the disgrace, Dick says. Batman tells him it's much better this way. Now we can call the police and tell them how Batman saved Bruce Wayne's life.